Deciding between private and executive condominium is something that's frequently talked about in the market. What about deciding between private, be it condo or EC, and an executive maisonette? Yes, HDB Executive Maisonette. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real. Recently, I've been serving quite a number of buyers in the market, and coincidentally, they are all around a similar age group, a similar family type, then deciding on a similar question: should I upgrade to a condo or an EM? Are you part of this group? First, what is EM and what's so special about it? HDB Executive Maisonettes are introduced around 1984. It's supposed to be a spacious two-story HDB ranging from 1,400 plus square feet to 2,000 plus square feet in size, making them much bigger than an average HDB flat. It has multiple layouts. Some come with huge terraces, some come with 4 bedrooms, some with 2 separate living halls, making them really unique. Most of such EMs can be found mostly in mature estates such as Ang Mo Kio, Bishan, Bukit Panjang, Hougang, Toh-i, to name a few. Unfortunately, these are types of flats that are no longer in production since 1995 or 1996 and were replaced by the executive condominiums, which makes them really rare and well sought after in today's market. Based on data, the older EMs will be around 39 to 40 years old, and the youngest one will be around 27 to 28 years old. Before we dissect it further, the group of buyers that I mentioned earlier that are deciding between a condominium and an EM are usually around the early 30s to the late 40s, and most of them do have children, mostly younger ones with helper. I believe they are looking at EM for the size and uniqueness. Honestly, if you would just Google online, you will see the transformation of some of the EM's pre and post ID treatment, and you will be in awe. So question now, condo or EM? I would say to each their own, but a lot of times it depends on what you are looking at in terms of your 5-year plan or 10-year plan. Today, we will visit just 3 factors to help you find out which is more suitable for you. Factor number 1, ask yourself, do you really need that extra space? I mean, if you have 3 children, 3 growing kids, each wants their own room, and maybe you also have a helper, then this extra space might come in handy because with some of the layouts, you can even do up a 6th room. Yes, 6 rooms. If you purchase a condo instead, with the same family structure, you might minimally need a 4-bedder, and most of them are actually below 1,400 plus square feet. So if space is a constraint, then go for the EM. This is one of the lower cost alternatives because it can feel like a landed with ample space, but a price tag way friendlier to the pocket. Today, if you are a young couple with a pet, and maybe with the intention of having just 1 child in the future, it might be wiser for you to opt for a younger condo, if your budget allows. This brings me to factor number 2. Ask yourself, if you have the intention to upgrade in the near future, maybe moving to a specific location to be near certain primary school or in-laws. Remember earlier on I've shared that EMs were introduced around 1984 up until around 1995. This means that even the younger EMs are around 28 years old by now, and most of them are already in their 30s with around 60 plus years of remaining lease. If you have the intention to sell and upgrade after 10 years, your house will be around 40 plus years old. And that might deter some buyers because they might not want to spend so much for a house that is getting really old. So even if it's rare, it will come a time where it is difficult to dispose in the future and you might need to sell at a loss. Most EM buyers will not treat EM as their final house. Most of them will usually sell off in 5 to 10 years time, maybe to upgrade to a private, or stay longer until their children grow up and move out. Then they will downsize. Because most owners actually told me after a certain age, they do get tired of climbing up and down. For landed, you can install a lift, but HDB, you potentially can, but it can be challenging to get all the approvals. And of course, it won't come cheap. So if you're a smaller family unit and is looking more towards capital appreciation, asset progression, or to upgrade and upgrade again, then I would suggest for you to look at a younger ECs or condo or even new launches because technically you don't need such a big space. If you have no intention to use your house as a source of retirement fund or appreciating asset but purely want a lifestyle and luxury of space, then factor number 3. Ask yourself, do you have the time and budget set aside for full renovation? I'm talking about changing the aircon, the flooring, the window, the stairs, the electrical points and everything else. So let's face it, most buyers that buy into EM will ideally want to recreate the whole space to their own creativity. And that's why we see so many beautifully altered EMs on Renopedia and all the other ID websites. This can be costly and time-consuming as compared to maybe a brand new launch with empty canvas to begin with. A renovation of a new launch 3-bedder might cost you around 45,000 for carpentry works plus furnishing, for example, because big bulk of the renovation was already done by the developer. Plus, they usually throw in fridge, washer, hood, hob, oven, fittings. But a full-blown renovation of EM might cost you more than 150,000 without furnishing, some even 200 to 300,000. And of course, with a renovation that big of a size, it will naturally take a longer time. So this might be one of the factors worth considering. Ultimately, there are many deciding factors, and a lot of them got to do with the buyer's age, profile, maybe plans for the future. Not everyone is suitable for EM, and same goes, not everyone is suitable for purchasing a private. So hit me up and I will do a full analysis based on your case. Now remember the last point on renovation? So a plus point will be finding an EM that's already renovated with not too much carpentry and probably a timeless design. I have 2 such units for you today at Bishan and Bukit Panjang area. If you're keen to view, please let me know. Till the next time, let's be real.